What's this? No. Bow, bow. Boop, boop. La, la, la. Ooh. Oh, look! It's a book! Maybe it's a book about pirates with a treasure map. No, I don't think so. I wish that I had seen through all your lies. Oh, start from the beginning, not the middle. And so I decided to pick up my pen to relate the most disturbing episode of my life thus far.
It all began early one morning in 1898, when Sherlock Holmes invited me to accompany him on a visit to the Marquis of Conyngham.
Watson, my dear fellow, we can now go and inform the Marquis that we have found the Samoan necklace, and very much faster than Inspector Baines, too, which pleases me.
Have you really solved the theft, Holmes? And so quickly?
I have indeed, Watson, and believe me, it was completely unnecessary to spread out all over London, as our friend Baines thought was best. He likes to boast that his methods are equal to mine, but once again the outcome has contradicted him.
After all these years of accompanying you upon your investigations, I thought that by now I should be reasonably capable of following your train of thought. But in this particular case, I must admit that I don't understand anything at all.
Ah, you see, but you do not observe, Watson. There lies the difference. It is a matter of course.
A matter of course? In the middle of the night, when everyone is fast asleep, the service bell within that room rings out and alerts the servants. They dress quickly. A few seconds, a fire has started inside the room, but they have managed to...
In order to explain,
This window was cut with a diamond, a clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
see how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window. A mark, undoubtedly made by a diamond. Someone tried to cut the glass, but he was interrupted.
Therefore, the thief tried to escape through the window, but he was interrupted.
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. Let us examine the crumpled scores that have fallen off the piano. These sooty prints were left by a tiny hand.
I don't understand why these music scores are covered with soot.
Not very well kept, this aquarium. I can see a dead fish floating on the surface. A candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier. These documents are not very interesting, even though they're addressed.
The Marquis...
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. The chest wasn't opened. The neck...
The fire started here, just beneath the bell pull.
Whoever pulled the cord would have had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled before the fire. Heading towards his chosen escape route, probably the window, the thief knocked over the stool, which then caught fire.
But why didn't he try to put the fire out at once?
Strange. There are some objects here that have been knocked over.
Footprints. You are not going to get on your knees.
There is no need. It is soot. The servants must have trodden it.
When the servants arrived at the door, having been alerted by...
This door is very hard to force. The Marquis is the only person to have the key. The thief could not get out through here until eventually...
This draft screen makes an ideal hiding place.
As the theft was committed at night, I conclude that the thief hid himself behind the draft screen and waited until he was alone in the... Strange. There aren't any prints.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. You're already here.
Good morning, Inspector. You've arrived just in time.
Scotland Yard arrives like the cavalry, always in the nick of time. Ah, but I know that satisfied expression, Mr. Holmes.
It's possible.
The only explanation is that the thief is...
Half a point for the doctor, nil for the...
I'm pleased to see that you find the situation amusing.
Dr. Watson was correct when he mentioned acrobatics, but he is mistaken about the nature of the acrobat.
Explain, for heaven's sake.
Watson, how could a thief be missed in the middle of 8 men?
I don't know. Because he is very small?
Exactly. Because he is small. Small and remarkable.
You're thinking of a monkey?
And a trained monkey at that. Without a doubt, a Leon Top. The animal had been hidden inside the room for several hours, calmly awaiting the signal from his master. Once night had fallen and the room was empty, a high the monkey emerged from his hiding place. The frightened monkey jumped from the chimney by swinging from the bell pull, thus alerting the house servants. He then went to the window and began to use his diamond to He ran across the piano, scattering the music scores onto the floor before hiding inside the chandelier, knocking over a candle. Finally, the servants and the Marquis entered the room, leaving the door open while they put out the fire. It was during the confusion that our agile little thief made his escape through the door.
A brilliant explanation.
And the necklace?
I can see it from here, my friends. It's right in front of us.
We have searched the room from top to bottom, Holmes. How were we unable to find it?
Because we paid insufficient attention to the only victim of this affair.
What victim? No one is dead?
Yes, Watson, a poor goldfish whose destiny was to die, crushed by one of the most precious necklaces in England.
The aquarium is just beneath the chandelier. I understand.
The little monkey had likely hung the necklace around its neck and lost it when he leapt from the chandelier. The jewels fell into the aquarium where they remain now. Marquis, here is your necklace, intact, just a little wet.
Mr. Holmes, this brilliant demonstration does...
Thank you so much, Marquis. Do you wish to verify the authenticity of your jewel?
No, I recognize it. I have spent many hours admiring it, you know.
Good. I will return it to its box and...
Inspector, a bank has just been held up. You must follow me at once. Orders...
What times?
Sirs, duty calls. My regards.
There, the necklace is in its box. We've lost enough time here. Let's go home, Watson.
Ah, very well, as you wish. A good day to you, Marquis.
With pleasure, gentlemen. And once again, thank you.
This morning's newspaper. Holmes, have you read this article about you?
No, Watson, not yet, and I won't have time to.
Read it before you leave. It's outrageous.
If you insist. Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and bagpipe player, might be our next king.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How...
You know, Watson, that wherever glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow. As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon...
Ah, Mr. Holmes. How did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that, Rag?
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the necklace of the Samoa...
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true. About the necklace, of course. I wouldn't permit my...
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authentic...
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to...
Let's return to the Marquis's house, Holmes. I'm sure that...
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to...
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to...
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or...
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine... and the Marchioness.
She is beside herself. Without the necklace, her marriage is compromised. It is...
What a lovely... Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you...
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I...
It will only take you a couple of minutes. You really...
Be my guest.
Very well.
What should we do next, Holmes?
What do you think, Holmes?
This pearl is a different color. This pearl is too small. It is not in its place here. These 3 pearls are of poor quality. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake. This is nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that...
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation?
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a...
I have absolutely no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed.
Goodbye, Inspector. You mentioned a bishop, didn't you?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address...
All right, Holmes. The work table. Holmes's home. I have found your map.
The police? Already? How did you know?
May we see the Bishop of Knightsbridge?
Yes.
What has happened, Reverend?
What?
I don't know. It was last night, I think. I only just arrived. and I have made this macabre discovery. My God, how horrible.
Holmes, look!
The bishop, appallingly mutilated.
How dreadful.
Mutilated and killed. He was such a good man. How could anyone be so brutal? Look at him. He is barely recognizable now.
They were evidently unworthy children, Reverend. Now do please try to calm yourself and focus, because we will need your assistance.
I haven't had time to do an inventory, but nothing appears to have been stolen. And then...
Note this down, please, Doctor.
Doctor? But you aren't the police?
No, Reverend. I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We are here at the request of the bishop.
In that case, I must ask you to leave, and not to touch anything.
Reverend, when the inspectors of Scotland Yard find themselves at a dead end, which they quite often do, I assure you, then they turn to me for help. If you will allow us to continue...
Out of the question! I don't even know you!
It would be better for everyone, Reverend, if you kept your temper. Watson, are you taking notes? This affair promises to be a complex one, therefore we must not overlook the slightest detail.
Yes, Holmes, I am keeping a meticulous set of notes. One thing we can be sure of at the moment is that this crime was not for gain. The Reverend has informed us that nothing...
Very good, Watson. Do continue. This stove is filled to overflowing. A broken phial and blood near the neck.
What a strange smell. Chemical components, I think. A broken bottle of whiskey. However, the Bishop of Knightsbridge was known for his sobriety.
There is blood on this paperweight. A bottle of whiskey. I can make out fingerprints stained with blood and...
It would seem that the brutes who tortured the bishop to death...
The fingers have been crushed and
His stomach is covered in scratches, quite evident.
So, these wounds were not made by his murderers. His forearms have been ripped, pieces of skin have been torn off.
I'd say that he was eaten alive. Yet I've noticed...
The fingers have been... A piece of rope that was... These burns are...
This poor man was...
To stop him from walking, certainly, but mostly...
His feet have been...
My first impression is that he wears...
You! But what does it... My God, Holmes, this...
A finger, Apparently, it doesn't belong to the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
How dread... You can see by his expression.
His mouth is covered in blood, and I can make out strips of skin. My dear friend, everything points.
That's unbelievable. You can see by his...
His mouth is...
His chest has been lacerated, I would say, with a very sharp...
Something is missing here.
Oh, yes? And what might that be?
His shoes. Watson, his shoes are missing. The picture of Peregrine Maitland, commander of the...
The Bishop of Knightsbridge has the same name...
Impossible to open it. Impossible to open it. I am missing some Reverend, I'm missing something. An implement with which to open...
No! Go to the devil!
What are you afraid of, Reverend? What is inside?
I'm not afraid of anything. In fact, I do have the necessary implements, but if I have to...
It's a cilice designed to bruise the person wearing it. The bishop... It's a cilice.
A whip?
No, it is... This very pious man... This metal rod is for fastening...
You have no right...
A surgical scalpel covered in blood. There isn't any doubt. The wounds on the bishop...
Closed. The veranda door hasn't been forced. Strange.
No! You have no...
Perhaps we should listen.
Perhaps you should let me get on with this, what? This door has not been forced. Where...
To His Excellency's room. There is just a mattress and a stool.
The bishop's bedroom. It is very austere. Watch where you're putting your feet, Watson. Have you noticed these prints upon the ground?
Well, yes, those muddy marks.
See here, Watson. Footprints can often provide more vital information.
Yes, if you know how to make...
It's child's play, Watson. We will begin by excluding the contaminating prints, which are yours and mine from where we came in. I need something. This print came from an expensive pair of shoes, and it seems recent. This print came from an hobnail boots like those worn by laborers. Hobnail boot. A fragment of stone. Hobnail boots like those worn by laborers. Size 9. Size 9. Size 9.5. Size 9.5. Size 9. Size 9. Nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest here.